breaking into your regularly scheduled program to bring you the latest on this winter storm. I'm joined by two of our meteorologists, Sawyer McElroy and Ethan Yost. Guys, what are you seeing outside?
Hey, it's not team coverage for nothing, Jacob, but we are still continuing to see some winter precipitation across portions of the region this morning. Here's a live look at that radar as we do start off our day. We are hanging on to some freezing rain, some sleet, and some snow across portions of the region this morning, as you can see across especially portions of the northern Permian Basin into the eastern Permian Basin. That is where we are seeing more of that snow, but you could see some sleet or some freezing rain mixed in, but also especially across portions of southeast New Mexico and areas near I-10 now starting to see that wintry mix. So definitely starting to see things picking up once again as we do head into the late morning hours. We do have that winter storm warning that is in effect through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time tomorrow. So we are looking to see precipitation continuing through our Saturday afternoon, or our Sunday afternoon, excuse me, for a good portion of the region, for generally 1 to 3 inches of snow, up to 6 inches in the Guadalupe Mountains, and generally about a 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of freezing rain or ice. So expect those slick road conditions still and possible power outages. Extreme cold warning as well, and that does continue through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time coming up on Monday for those areas highlighted in dark blue. For wind chill values anywhere between 0 degrees and 4 degrees below zero, along with a cold weather advisory, and that is in effect through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time on Monday as well, with wind chills between 0 and 3 degrees above zero. Here's a live look outside of a frozen Odessa this morning. We have seen some snows, that freezing rain as well. Temperatures are very cold, ranging from the teens to the 40s. Those winds not terrible, and those wind chills are still very, very cold as we do head into the area this morning. 5 below in Big Spring, 2 below in Lamesa, but definitely very, very cold as you do head out the door to start off your Saturday.
All right, thank you, Sawyer. We've got a lot more weather coverage to come here. We're going to do a live stream for the next hour on our app, our Facebook page, and our website, firstalert7.com. So come join us over there. Ethan and Sawyer will have a lot more weather coverage for you, and we'll tell you about closures and other warnings, things like that going on across our area. For now, here, though, on Channel 7, we'll return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
Now an update from the First Alert 7 Weather Center.
Well, all right. Thank you for, sorry, Ethan. I was gonna welcome us back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just thank the people for sticking with us here on our live stream, first of all, as we're now here on our app, on Facebook, and on firstalert7.com. Now we've got a little room to be here live for the next hour, bringing you the latest on this winter storm. Ethan, what are you seeing?
Yeah, again, like Sawyer just talked about, we're just seeing a little bit of precipitation out there right now in the form of freezing rain, sleet, and snow. But this really is a tough forecast. Me and Sawyer were talking earlier, and it looks like going into this evening, and really the afternoon and evening, I should say, it's looking like majority of sleet in the forecast going into this afternoon. We're really thinking more of a freezing rain and sleet mix, but we'll of course see some accumulation on the ice side of things, but it's looking more of like that sleet that's going to be the predominant precipitation type going into the Permian Basin later this evening, and also eventually switching into snow.
Yeah, you know, as you can see from live radar this morning, we are seeing some areas of snow across the eastern Permian Basin and northern Permian Basin, but still hanging on to freezing precipitation across the Midland Odessa area, whether that is that sleet or that freezing rain. Kind of hard to distinguish here on our radar, but also other portions of the region are dealing with some wintry precipitation near Sanderson along I-10. I believe we were seeing, you know, near Fort Stockton, it was getting a little bit icy in Pecos County out there on I-10. So starting to see that kind of transitioning more southward this morning, and that does look to continue through today as well and into our Sunday. So we do have a couple of weather alerts. Do you want to take the winter storm warning, Ethan?
Yeah, so we do have this winter storm warning still in effect, even though there's not a whole lot of precipitation out there. There's some, but we still have that warning in effect through tomorrow, because again, we are looking at more rounds moving in later this evening, and it's going to continue through your Sunday morning, possibly into late morning, early afternoon. So we have that going all the way through 12 p.m. Central on your Sunday for everyone in that pink shaded region. And again, this is kind of a difficult forecast. We're kind of talking about this, and we've broadcasted some of our accumulation forecasts, but it's really going to be dependent on those transition zones that we're talking about, from sleet to freezing rain to snow, because if those even transitions a little bit to the south or a little bit to the north, we can get one precipitation type over the other, and that'll really affect our totals and overall impacts.
Well, I mean, the impacts are going to be great anyway, whether it's snow, freezing rain, sleet, because, we already have that layer of ice across most roads, especially in the Permian Basin. We'll talk to Sheriff Mike Griffiths, Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths, coming up in just a few minutes about kind of road conditions across the region. But even driving into work, the roads were slick, icy as well, and expect that if you are out on the roads. It may not look icy, but, expect to take your time, be a little bit slower getting into wherever you need to go this morning. And also, even if we didn't see any more precipitation, it is also going to be very cold. We have an extreme cold warning, and that is in effect through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time, coming up on Monday for these areas highlighted in dark blue for wind chill values between 0 degrees and 4 degrees below zero. Make sure to cover exposed skin, limit time outside, and dress in layers as well. Cold weather advisory in effect coming up also through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time on Monday for those areas in light blue. Similar, wind chills and similar conditions are expected, with wind chills between 0 and 3 degrees above zero, but still going to be very cold.
And those current temperatures out there, they are really cold out there. I mean, we have dropped significantly since yesterday. Those current temperatures now in the teens across the Permian Basin. Look at that big temperature swing from northeast to southwest. 10 degrees in Lamesa, all the way up to 47 in Presidio. So a large jump from northeast to southwest. And throughout the day, we'll continue to see those temperatures relatively cool. We're not going to be out of the 20s later this afternoon. And again, those wind chills are also very cold. We're seeing those into the single digits and the negatives this morning. And with those winds out of the northeast at about 15 to 20, that's again keeping those wind chills in the single digits and negatives. -2 for Lamesa, 1 for Midland, 2 degrees in Andrews. And look at that, all the way up to 41 in Presidio.
So even for those areas that are still a little bit warmer this morning, they are seeing temperatures dropping with the Arctic air encroaching on that area. Feels like 41 in Presidio. They have dropped their temperature from earlier this morning. They were sitting at about 52 at about 6 a.m. this morning. Here's a look at our futurecast as we head through today. We are looking to see some more precipitation like we mentioned, and even going back to our iCam, I'm going to go back to that for 1 second. Actually, where was our iCam? I believe we have there we go, there's our iCam. Here in Odessa, you can see snow and ice cover roads there. That is 42nd and Grandview, looking down Grandview. And we are also actively seeing precipitation coming down from our iCam here in Odessa. So not yet done with that precipitation. I do want to go back to our futurecast as we head through today. And Ethan, take that away.
Yeah, so we are kind of in a brief lull right now. Still some precipitation ongoing in the form of freezing rain, sleet, and snow, mainly across northeastern Permian Basin, but some more working its way in from the west. So by about 12 p.m. this afternoon, we'll start to see more of that in the forecast. You see all that purple showing up across the western Permian Basin, southeast New Mexico, into the upper Trans-Pecos. That's going to continue to build to the east, and we'll see more coverage throughout the afternoon and evening. And by the overnight, notice all that blue. It's going to start to work its way to the south as more freezing temperatures work their way in. And throughout the overnight, we'll see more of that blue working its way in the form of snow that'll continue through the overnight. See all that blue through the Permian Basin. So we could pick up maybe 1 to even 3 inches of snow across the Permian Basin. Some locally higher amounts are possible too across the extreme northern Permian Basin. 4 to 5 inches are possible up there. And again, sleet will also be a big factor here in terms of the precipitation type. Could see, again, a couple inches of that as well. But don't forget the ice. The ice is the biggest problem here. Freezing rain coming down, immediately freezing on contact. That'll create sheets of ice on the ground, make slick road conditions and dangerous travel. So we do really recommend through really the entire evening that you just stay off the roads and stay indoors, especially with the extreme cold.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, we are in a little bit of a lull right now, but as we head through today, we are going to see that precipitation picking up. So even though the roads may look, a little bit better now, they may not be that coming up later on today.
All right. Well, Ethan and Sawyer, thank you very much for your forecasting and tracking this winter storm, helping get people prepared, and now get us through this.
Yes.
All right, let's go to our team coverage. We have reporters out live across the area in Odessa, Big Spring, and Andrews. They spent the night last night, and now are there keeping us updated on the conditions. We'll start here in Odessa with First Alert 7's Lauren Munt, who is outside of Music City Mall, outside the First Alert 7 studios. She has a special guest. Lauren, who do you have there with you?
Yeah, Jacob, I'm here with Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths. You're joining us here early this morning. Sheriff, I have a little bit of an experiment that I want us to do real quick, and then I'll get to some questions that I have for you. I'll let you do the honors. We have an egg right here. We're going to freeze it in the pan. We talk about frying eggs in West Texas all the time because it's so hot.
Yeah.
We're going to freeze it. So let's go ahead. You can dump that in there. We did this experiment earlier on Wake Up West Texas. We did crack this egg because the other egg, we had to crack it on air and I had to take my hands out of the gloves, and that was very cold, and I'm not doing that again. But you can see it kind of, not anything quite yet. Last time it crystallized pretty fast. We'll check in on it in just a second. Sheriff, how have the roads been this morning? You started really, really early.
Yes, ma'am. All the roads are slick. Some of them are slicker than others, but all of them are slick. Yeah, you got to kind of think about being in an airplane and trying to stop. It don't stop. So allow yourself, if you have to be on the road, plenty of room between yourself and the intersection or the car in front of you. That way, if you have to get out of a car's way that's coming up behind you, you can possibly get out of the way and avoid a collision. Every road in Ector County is frozen. And like I said, some of them are slicker than others, but it is slick. All of them are slick. The loop, West Loop, is very slick. The bridges are extremely slick. So if you don't have to get out, do not get out. It's dangerous out here, folks. It's not worth your life or anybody else's. Stay home if you can.
And we can get kind of a look around the parking lot here at Music City Mall. Lots of ice on the roads, lots of snow on the roads. The snow's not the problem though. Like we've been saying, that ice is slick, and it is causing lots of problems. Sheriff, have you seen any crashes this morning?
I have not seen any crashes. In fact, traffic's pretty light. I'm proud of everybody for staying home. I did go to the store this morning and checked out to see what kind of supplies they had, and they had quite a few supplies left. Apparently they weren't hit yesterday, but the traffic was very light, and I'm proud of everybody trying to stay home. I know everybody can't. I know my people can't, and so I mean, we have to do what we do. You know, this is not a job; it's a commitment. So this is what we do. We're committed to keeping our community safe, and that's what we're going to do. And we're out here in it.
All right. Speaking of your guys being out on the roads, you guys have talked a little bit about you guys are driving around and helping anybody who is in need of a warming shelter, and you guys are taking them. Where are y'all taking them?
Absolutely. If somebody loses power, they need to stay warm for whatever reason. Call us. We'll come pick you up. 335-3535. We'll pick you up, take you to Barn A. It's a nice warm spot. We'll keep you there until the weather permits for you to go back.
All right, Sheriff, anything else you've got to add for the people of West
just
Texas?
Stay home, stay safe, stay warm, and just pray for some warmer weather next week.
I hear that. All right, well, let's take a look at our egg. Not too much happening. It's warmed up a little bit since we've done this experiment this morning, but you can kind of start to see a little bit of that crystallization right there on the top of that egg yolk. We had a lot better luck with this experiment earlier today on Wake Up West Texas. That's up on our Facebook, so be sure to check that out if you want to see a very frozen egg that happened very early this morning. Jacob, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you guys in studio so that the sheriff and I can get warm.
All right, Lauren, thank you very much. And thank you, Sheriff Griffiths, as well, for taking the time to be here with us. He does need some gloves and maybe a better hat.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about that. You know, we've been saying all morning that if you are outside for an extended period of time, make sure any exposed skin is covered because those temperatures are so cold that frostbite can set in very, very quickly. Maybe we can look that up, Ethan, on our little fancy tablet here and come back to that later. But very, very cold, so please try and cover up any exposed skin out there this morning, or it really has as we head through today.
Are we ready to go to Andrews now? All right, so let's go continue our team coverage live in Andrews, where First Alert 7's Sierra Burnett and Rachel Fortunato spent the night braving the cold. Sierra, we see you there. How are conditions in Andrews right now?
Good morning, you guys. So as you can see, we're kind of standing right outside of our hotel here in Andrews, and I'll just give you guys a look of what it looks like right outside of our hotel here today. So if you come outside, this is exactly what you all over the ground, ice all over the roads. The roads are here. So you can see one gentleman over there in his car just a little bit. There's not much snow coming down right now. There was snow that was falling just a little bit earlier from around 9 o'clock till just about now is when it stopped. There are still flurries coming down, It is still super cold. When I just checked on the weather app not too long ago, it said it was 15 degrees, but it feels like -2. And from standing out here just for the few minutes that I have been out here, I will say it does feel exactly like that. My hands are freezing as I am holding this camera up. A few cars out on the road right now, not too many. I did see a few Encore trucks last night. I seen about 3 of them that were going up and down the roads just checking, because we also did get word that there were over 1,000 power outages here last night. We also experienced a small power outage here at the hotel. It lasted for about 20 to 30 minutes, I will say. Nothing major yet, though, that we have heard of. We hope to keep it that way as well. Just to go out a little bit further and show you guys exactly what it looks like here in Andrews. There are snow on top of these cars over here, these trees. Trying not to slip, you guys. Sorry if I'm walking a little slower. But as you can see on this side, on the ground, no signs of roads really. It is still very, very windy outside, very cold. Not really anybody out here right now. Everybody's at home trying to stay safe. The grocery stores were packed yesterday. The streets were packed yesterday. It was very rainy yesterday, and now, as you can see, it is complete snow. So we will, of course, keep you guys updated on any new things that we are going to hear out here in Andrews and, of course, elsewhere.
All right, thank you, Sierra. Quite snowy there in Andrews.
Yeah, you know, I just commented on that. Looks pretty snowy out there, and we are going to head to Big Spring now with Wyatt Nunn, who has our update there this morning, and it is rather snowy out there in Big Spring as well. Wyatt, what are you guys seeing out there this morning?
Hey, thanks, Sawyer. Yeah, so we have been out here since about 6 a.m. this morning, monitoring the conditions in Howard County, and at least from our perspective, things have seemed to die down as the day has gone on. When we first got up this morning, the snow was pretty strong and we had some intense winds with it. Those are both still present, but certainly not as harsh. Now, we are still in a real feel in the negatives, and it is impacting the area. We have seen less cars on the road than we saw last night. A lot of the cars that were here overnight are still here, have not seen many of them leave the parking lot. Now, I will say, one vehicle that just pulled in is an integrated power services truck. I am not sure if it is here as a precaution in case the hotel were to lose power, or if he will be assisting the over 100 households in South Big Spring that have already lost power this morning. Now, while I am out here talking with y'all, Sports Director Jensen Young is out in the area speaking with businesses that are open today and seeing how they are weathering the storm and making sure they can be available for anyone who stops and needs their services. We should be hearing from them tonight at 6 and 10. But for now, reporting live in Big Spring, Wyatt Nunn, First Alert 7 News.
All right, thank you very much, Wyatt. Stay warm out there in Big Spring. We do want to let you know that Easy Rider has closed for today. This is public transportation, buses. People use this to get around. Obviously, we want everyone to stay off the roads, and Easy Rider thinks that that's a good idea as well for the safety of their drivers and for their customers. They will be closed all day today. We were told to check back with them on Monday, so I assume that means closed all day tomorrow as well. We'll see Monday if conditions are right for those bus routes to reopen there. Well, you just heard from Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths and Ector County Judge Dustin Foss that they had a press conference earlier this week issuing a public service announcement about preparation for the winter weather. Have a listen to what they had to say.
If anybody needs to get warm, their power goes out or whatever, please call us, 335-3535, 432-335-3535. We will come pick you up and we will take you to a place warm. We would rather help you that way than later. We want you to stay off the roadways. The roads are going to be horrible. Unless there is absolutely an emergency, do not get out of your house. We're going to have plenty to do without having to deal with wrecks and all that kind of stuff. So please stay home, stay warm, and if you need us, please call us.
So if you lose power and need a ride, they will give that to you. Call 335-3535. There's a warming shelter also open in Ector County. That is at the Ector County Coliseum in Barn A. They opened this up around 6 p.m. yesterday evening. That shelter is providing food, charging stations, and overnight accommodations. You can learn more about that on firstalert7.com. We've also got all sorts of other warming shelters listed there as well. The city of Odessa is opened up its warming shelters. Those are at the Salvation Army on East 11th Street. That is an overnight shelter there. They'll do intake from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So they will close the doors at 9 p.m. So you need to make sure you're in there to stay there overnight, but they will be available to you for overnight lodging. You can also go to Jesus House of Odessa. That's at 1335 East 6th Street.
And over in Midland, the city is sharing the location of several warming centers and shelters. Locations include Breaking Bread Kitchen, Salvation Army, Midland Soup Kitchen, and the Downtown and Centennial Libraries. As you can see on your screen, the Salvation Army will be open 24/7 until at least Wednesday. Breaking Bread also just told us that they've teamed up with True Light Church for a 24-hour shelter starting yesterday night, but continuing through Monday. All of this information can be found at firstalert7.com.
Here's a list of warming shelters out in Big Spring. You just saw conditions, what they're like there in Big Spring with Wyatt. So obviously, people need a place there to go as well. Salvation Army in Big Spring, they've got a location there on 5th Street, the Big Spring YMCA on Owens, or Las Cazuelas at 2606 South Gregg Street. The city of Big Spring also letting us know about some closures to some of their facilities. The Big Sandy landfill is closed today because of the freezing temperatures and conditions made it muddy and icy. It's just not good for driving, so that's going to stay closed until they're able to get those things worked out. The Comanche Trail Golf Course also closed today and tomorrow, and will also be closed on Monday, not just because of the weather, but they already had regularly scheduled maintenance happening that day as well. Odessa College will be closed this weekend because of the winter weather. That includes the Sports Center and the Learning Resources Center. Those are shut down. Odessa College and all its extension offices or classrooms in Andrews, Monahans, and Pecos will all be closed as well. No classes, no events, anything happening this weekend, all shut down. They will, however, the Great Western Dining Hall be delivering meals to residents there that are students in their apartments and their dorms so they can still get food.
That's nice.
That is nice. And online tutoring, because it's online, that will still be available as well.
And Tom's Coats is underway here at First Alert 7, and we need your help to keep West Texans warm. You can drop off new or gently used coats at the Frost Bank locations in both Midland and Odessa. You can also take them to Odessa College, Lou Allen Garcia Pipkin Funeral Home in Midland, or here at First Alert 7. Obviously not this weekend, but once things warm up and clear out, this is now through January 31st. All coats will go to the Salvation Army for those in need.
We did just hear from Wyatt out there in Big Spring. He and Jensen spent the night. They left here around noon yesterday to get out there before the rain and the freezing rain started. They stayed there at a Hampton Inn in Big Spring. So here's Jensen Young, who spoke with the hotel about how they were ready to serve guests during this winter storm.
Hotels like this Hampton and Big Spring do a lot of work ahead of a storm like this. I spoke with the assistant general manager. She told me they stock at least double the food they usually do, and they prepare to receive walk-ins all night long. Staff at hotels also have to be ready to communicate anything that's happening, especially if there's a power outage.
A lot of times they'll give us a direct line to like the crew that's working on the situation at hand, and we keep in touch with them and they keep in touch with us and stuff. They're really good about informing us, hey, it's going to be like about 30 more minutes. You know, they don't like to give a definite time because, you know, things could occur and nobody really knows.
It takes a community coming together to help everyone get through the storm safely. Amy Gutierrez says places like Big Spring are great for community support that you only get in small towns.
I know that we do have like a lot of volunteers that like the community comes together and they will volunteer if like somebody's pipes break or busted, you know, and the churches are really good about sheltering people who need it and stuff if it comes to that.
Another big concern, we saw people panic buying across the area.
Definitely.
Did you guys try to go to the grocery store?
I did.
Luckily, I went ahead of time. I went the weekend, just last weekend.
Okay, good.
So I got all my shopping done way ahead of the time. So.
Wow, you were way more prepared than I was. I was panic buying on, not panic buying, of course, but, you know, getting extra
She was
things.
very panicked.
Prepared. That's what we like to say. Prepared, don't panic.
Yes, be
in these
prepared, don't
situations.
panic. I did that on, I believe, Thursday morning.
Okay, and you got what you needed. We got our snacks for the storm if we do need them. Yes. Thankfully, there are not too many power outages and things across the area, so that's been good so far. But First Alert 7's Rachel Fortunato was up there in Andrews and saw how grocery stores there responded to the increase in customers.
It's been like so crowded. People being coming to buy like milk, bread, vegetables, tortillas.
Similar to grocery stores in Odessa, stores here are also struggling to keep eggs, milk, and bread on the shelves. Other popular items include produce and shelf-stable cans and boxed food. A local Super Chihuahua has seen a large increase in recent customers. They have even seen many new faces in the store as other places run out of popular products.
There's a lot of people who come in. They are not usually to come because there lack of products on the stores, so they think they can find it here.
Rodriguez also says people are buying a larger number of products.
On weekends, we always have a lot of people, but this weekend we sell what we sell on today.
Super Chihuahua employees and their customers have expressed their concern for what's to come.
Kind of worry about because of the weather.
A local resident shopping even told us that prices have gone up due to high demand.
That was Rachel Fortunato reporting there in Andrews. We'll continue to hear live reports from our crews out in Andrews and Big Spring and right here in Odessa as well. Of course, we're urging you to stay off the roads. They are quite icy. We all drove into work this morning, got a sense for, it's not bad if you take it slow. Don't turn fast, don't stop fast, but certainly slippery.
Yeah, we do have ice pretty much all over the region on those roads. We're starting to see some icing from what we heard on I-10 near the Fort Stockton area. So definitely going to see that kind of surging a little bit more southward as we head through the day. And we are not yet done with that precipitation. So even if the roads, are looking a little bit better, they could deteriorate coming up later on as we head throughout our Saturday.
Okay. Especially those overpasses. Those elevated surfaces are going to be the ones the most dangerous. So if you are on the highway crossing over overpasses, those are the spots you want to be really slow in taking it safe.
For sure. And as you stay inside, maybe you'll get a little bored. What do I do? Well, Lauren Munt went and spoke with some experts about how to keep things fun while you're inside the next few days.
All right, the museum is closed this weekend like most other places due to these frigid temperatures. But I did talk to them about an activity that you can do inside while also staying warm. Take a look.
Hi, so we're going to show you how to make a survival of the slowest obstacle course using things that you can find at home.
For this project, you will need an empty cereal box or any cardboard structure, a rock or a small heavy object, tape, glue, and any craft materials that you can find around the house.
Anything you can be creative with. It's all about engineering and creativity.
Now, there are no rules. Just use whatever you can find to create a really cool maze.
Doesn't have to be fancy, just something quick, easy, so it flattens it out just like this. I really love this activity for being inside because it really kind of gives you the opportunity to really look around, kind of get to know your surroundings and see what you can make when you really don't have anything to make stuff. Next, what we're going to do is you want to kind of start building it, just like we have this example here. You take different sorts of paper. You can use like toilet paper, paper towel rolls, some tape, some yarn.
And basically then, you just start placing obstructions anywhere on the cardboard that you want.
So I'm going to start with building a wall.
Okay.
To put our obstacle course in.
Gotcha. I'm going to start here making just a start line.
Now this should keep kids busy for a while, but we don't have that kind of time. So let's make some TV magic.
So what we've gone ahead and done is we've added a little barrier here, added a little ramp here, just to kind of, add some more zhuzh to it, make it look nice.
Of course, next you need a friend to attempt your new obstacle course.
So this is JJ. He is to represent our sloth that we have here at the museum, and he is going to go through our obstacle course here. So you'll stick him through, and when you pull it along, you'll pull it along the different areas.
This activity is inspired by the museum's Survival of the Slowest exhibit.
We really wanted to talk about how things move very slow, so we built an obstacle course where you're purposely making your little creature move slowly through the obstacle course.
Now that little creature isn't the only thing moving slow this weekend.
It's really important that children remember, not everything is super fast paced. It's okay to go slow. Sometimes slow is best.
So this weekend, slow down, stay safe, and stay inside. Reporting at the Museum of the Southwest, I'm Lauren Munt for First Alert 7 News.
Now an update from the First Alert 7 Weather Center.
We interrupt your programming here on Channel 7 to bring you the latest on this winter storm. I'm joined by two of our meteorologists, Sawyer McElroy and Ethan Yost. What are y'all seeing outside?
Yeah, right now it is not terrible. The roads are slick as we did accumulate some ice overnight. We are still seeing some spotty wintry precipitation, mainly across northeastern portions of the viewing area. That is coming in the form of snow, also some sleet mixed in there, and additional freezing rain. So throughout the day, we're going to continue to see road conditions deteriorating, especially as we head in towards the afternoon and evening, because we are expecting a more robust round to move through the region, bringing more accumulations. Here on the winter storm warning, you can see that we still have this in effect all the way through your Sunday afternoon to cover the threat of this second round of wintry precipitation for everyone in the pink shaded region on your screen, including Midland, Odessa, and everybody in the Permian Basin, Trans-Pecos Mountain areas, and southeast New Mexico. And okay, we also have an extreme cold warning, everyone in blue here. So add that cold and possible power outages with some of this ice accumulation. It's going to be imperative that you stay warm throughout the weekend. We could see nighttime lows down the single digits with those wind chills between 0 and 4 degrees below zero. So the coldest weather of the season throughout this weekend. Now, if we look ahead to a cold weather advisory, we also have that in effect for southwestern counties of our viewing area in the light blue. Not as cold temperatures down there, but still rather cold for this time of the year, between 0 and 3 above zero down there going into the overnight hours throughout the weekend. Current temperatures out there, they're relatively cold. We are definitely below freezing, and the live iCam showing a lot of that ice accumulations all across Odessa. Cloudy skies out there, and temperatures in the teens across the Permian Basin. And you add that wind, it is even colder. Those wind chills are down to the single digits and even negative territory. We're looking at -5 degrees up there in La Mesa.
All right, Ethan, thank you for that forecast. We will return you now to your regularly scheduled programming here on Channel 7, but please join us as our live stream continues on FirstAlert7.com, the First Alert 7 News app, and the First Alert 7 Facebook page. We'll have more in-depth weather breakdowns from these two over there. Come join us.
Now an update from the First Alert 7 Weather Center.
All right, thank you for sticking with us here on First Alert 7 across our digital platforms. We are live streaming throughout the day, of course, cutting into programming on Channel 7 throughout the day, every 30 minutes or so to bring you the latest on this winter storm. But we continue to do these live streams on our website, our app, and our Facebook page to keep you in the know. And it's nice and easy. Pick up your phone, watch us there. You don't even need TV.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys wanted to talk a little more about weather, a little more in-depth look, and kind of go city to city and tell people what they're seeing in their area right now.
Yeah, keep you from having to look at radar yourself. We'll do that for you right now, going through basically every location and seeing what conditions are like right now. Broad view right now, big picture is, as we've seen precipitation start to move gradually more to the north and east. So places like the southwest Permian Basin, they are so far mostly dry now. Northeastern Permian Basin, including areas of Big Spring. If you want to zoom in there, Sawyer, for me, we are seeing that there is a little bit of mixed precipitation in there. The blue colors indicate some snow, but also those purple colors indicating some sleet. So those are those ice pellets that fall out of the sky, those purple colors. We can zoom over to Seminole as well, where we are also seeing some of those wintry precipitation going on, also in the blue. So there could be some snow showers around out there, but overall it looks to be very spotty and light in nature. If we want to move off to the south, though, towards Midland and Odessa, again, we are seeing basically mostly dry conditions. Could be a flurry or two in the sky because radar does a bad job of trying to pick up on light snow flurries and also light freezing rain and sleet. So there could be some precipitation falling in very localized spots, but it's mostly dry and road conditions are slick. So even though it's not precipitating right now, we are still seeing some slick and hazardous driving conditions out there. So make sure if you have to be out and about, take it very slow. Now let's move off to the west over towards Carlsbad, up and towards Hobbs, where we are seeing a more uptick in the precipitation. That's going going to eventually make its way to the east in the Permian Basin throughout the afternoon. You can see all those purple colors. We are getting reports of heavy to moderate sleet across portions of Carlsbad up and towards Hobbs this morning, and those are those ice pellets. So it's not snow, it's not any of that freezing rain. There could be some mixture in there, but we're right now getting reports of mainly those ice pellets in the form of sleet falling in that region. And right now that's being the favored precipitation type for really most areas of the Permian Basin going to the overnight. But you can still see we have a lot of that snow ongoing to the north. So if you go up to the northern Permian Basin here, up towards the Welch area, up and towards Gale, we are seeing a lot of those blue colors still more prominent up here, a lot more scattered in nature. So we're likely going to see more of that precipitation continuing throughout most of your morning, leading to more accumulations and deteriorating road conditions. Big Spring right now, you look to be out of the woods right now. Just now seeing precipitation leaving off to the east. For the past couple hours, you have received a few flurries and possibly some sleet out there, but it's starting to move off to the east. So I think we'll start to see a drying trend across most locations of the Permian Basin and continuing into the early afternoon before we see yet another uptick going into the early afternoon and the mid-evening. But then later tonight, everyone's going to see a transition to snow. So all that blue color is eventually going to transition into most areas. We'll actually see some accumulating snow in some areas as well. But let's move on a little bit here and talk the forecast, because again, we are seeing things on the rise going over the next couple hours. We still have that winter storm warning in effect for all areas in pink for, again, generally up to 1 to 3 inches of snow accumulations and sleet, possibly more across the Guadalupe Mountains. They could see up to 6 inches. Generally, 1/4 of an inch of accumulation is expected going into this evening for ice. And then again, mainly that sleet is going to be the main threat going into this evening. But of course, extreme cold, that's always going to be here. We're going to be seeing that throughout the entire weekend. So even if you don't receive precipitation today, we're going to continue to see those extreme cold temperatures, wind chills between 0 and 4 degrees below 0. That's actually well below the average this time of year, and actually the coldest weather of the season so far. And for me, a fellow Missourian, this is even cold for me, where it's way colder up there on a normal basis. Up there, we're seeing actually temperatures well below this temperature right now. We're in like the negative teens down there. So even for me, it is cold. So West Texans, make sure you are bundling up, adding those extra layers throughout the weekend, and even down towards southwestern counties in the light blue, we are seeing those cold weather advisories for temperatures not quite as cool, but still right around 0 and a couple degrees above. And then looking ahead here to the current temperatures, again, we are seeing mostly cloudy skies. A little bit of precipitation might be falling, but overall temperatures are very cold. We are in the teens, 20s, and up to 48 degrees in Presidio. And those current winds are relatively light, but you add the wind to those very cold temperatures and the wind chill, it is very cold. We are down to negative territory up and towards Lamesa, Big Spring, 0 in Midland and Odessa, 8 degrees in Monahans. Again, another round of wintry precipitation is on the way later tonight. We'll step to the futurecast here at around 12 o'clock in the afternoon. All that purple showing up once again on your map. That is freezing rain, that is sleet, and that'll continue through the evening and into the overnight before we start to see a brief lull and then a transition to snow across most areas. That's all that in blue on your screen. And that looks to continue into early morning on Sunday, possibly into late morning, early afternoon before everything clears out by the early to mid-afternoon. So here are the iCams. Let's stroll through a bunch of those right now, starting here with Odessa. Again, not much precipitation falling right now, just a little bit of a glaze of ice on the ground, maybe a few flurries falling here and there, but overall conditions are just slick on the roadways, so make sure you take it slow if you have to be out and about. Don't underestimate the fact that there is no precipitation falling, because we did see quite a bit of accumulation overnight. We can step through some of the other iCams now, but most of them are really kind of frozen over. We can look through some of the other ones like Odessa, maybe Midland, and Big Spring, but most of those are frozen over.
Yeah, I'll take us to Midland right now, Ethan. We are seeing that camera frozen over, but of course that is indicating, of course, that we have had freezing precipitation there. So keep that in mind as you are headed out on the roads in Midland. Usually that would be looking towards I-20. Andrews is also pretty frozen over as well. You can see a little tiny bit there, but still very frozen over. Then Big Spring as well. We usually would be looking towards Hotel Settles out there. Can't see much in the way of anything there. The good news is Pecos actually looks rather decent, so we'll head to Pecos, another iCam that we can take an eye on and take a peek at. actually looks much better than we were seeing earlier today, and really even the roads don't look too bad out there at all. Of course, you know, you may be in a spot where it doesn't necessarily look like the road is wet or icy, but it can take you off guard, especially on those underpasses, overpasses, you know, where we do have the air underneath, you know, those bridges and those ice first. Here's a look at Fort Stockton, where we are also seeing that ICAM frozen over, where we do have, you know, that ice across that ICAM. And then here's a look at Presidio, where we are seeing a lot of cloud cover, a little bit of a breeze as well. However, no active precipitation falling there. And actually temperatures a little bit on the warmer side there. We are seeing temperatures there sitting in the 40s, I believe. So it's still cooler than they have been seeing, but not below that freezing mark just yet. I do want to take us to Roswell in New Mexico, where they are seeing a good portion of snow. And, you know, that's kind of what we're looking at as we head through tonight and into our Sunday, more accumulating snowfall. But let's take it back to Odessa right now, where we have seen that ice on the roads and that accumulating snowfall as well. Ethan, do you think we should talk about the ice accumulation as we head throughout the rest of the day with our models?
Yeah, we can go to that next.
Okay.
I can take over here and talk about that. So yes, we are expecting more rounds tonight, like we just talked about in the Futurecast, coming out later in the afternoon through the evening and overnight. Will start out as mainly a sleet and freezing rain mix, so we could see more ice accumulations throughout the day. This is in addition to what we've already seen, so this is not going to be total, but in addition to what we've already seen. And right now, data is suggesting that we could see upwards of 1/10 to 1/3 of an inch here across the Permian Basin and really most of West Texas and Southeast New Mexico. And again, that can cause disruptive impacts, including slick roadways, which we already do have, so it can just make those even worse. And then also those power outages. If we get enough ice accretion on those power lines, power outages can occur, and combine that extreme cold, and really going to want to make sure that you have a place to stay warm. Now, we do have some snowfall in the forecast as well, but again, it's going to be coming in the latter half of the event later tonight through your early Sunday morning. But generally, about 1 to 3 inches of snow can be expected across the Permian Basin. Less amounts as you work your way down to the south. And then up to the north, we're looking at localized higher amounts, possibly up to 4 and 5 inches up and towards the Hobbs area and up and towards the extreme northern Permian Basin. But again, the main concern with this event is going to be the ice. So speaking of which, let's look at some of those ice accumulation impacts. So we already have picked up some. Likely some areas already picked up 1/10 of an inch, and so we've already seen windshields coated. I know mine was this morning. Slick bridges and overpasses, ice on vegetation, we've seen plenty of that. Now, 1/4 of an inch of ice, once we start to get to that territory, we're looking at icy roads. Some areas are already seeing that as well. Some tree limbs can snap and break as well. And then, of course, some power outages. Now, the crippling side of things, we're not quite expecting that of an extreme, but very localized spots could see this. So just as a heads up, this will cause treacherous road conditions and also widespread power outages for an extreme period of time, and also widespread tree damage will be likely. So just take these impacts seriously as we do approach the next round of winter precipitation later tonight through your Sunday.
Thank you, guys. That was a lot of weather to break down.
It was. I like to take it step by step because there's a lot to talk about here. It's a complicated forecast. It really is, because there's a lot of transition zones. You know, one time it's freezing rain, next it's sleet, next it's snow. It's like, well, what's happening? The weather is like all over the place, and it's cold. There's a lot of impacts to talk about. So just giving you guys that breakdown.
And we're not done yet. I mean, we still got a few more days of conditions that we're going to see how bad it is.
Yes.
Yes, and again, the next round starts later this afternoon. So if you have no precipitation happening right now, that doesn't mean you're not going to see any later. And just because it's not precipitating right now does not mean there's no impact. That doesn't mean there's no slick roads. So go outside, and if you see slick roads, and really, I don't recommend you go outside, but if you happen to be outside and you see slick roads, just try to avoid travel at all costs.
All right. Well, you got to hear all about the conditions, the numbers, maps, radars, all those things. Let's get a look at actual live outside right now, what things are looking like. Ethan mentioned staying off the roads. Let's see what the roads are like outside. We can go with our team coverage live across West Texas. We'll start in Odessa, where First Alert 7's Lauren Munt is live outside of the First Alert 7 studios. Lauren, how are things outside right now?
Jacob, we were really hoping that you would toss to us first because we've got some really cool things to show you right now. This is some of the most perfect snowflakes that we've ever seen out here in West Texas. If you get a close-up right there on the glove, can you see it? It is just an absolutely beautiful snowflake. Amazing snowflakes falling all around us right now. Perfectly symmetrical. They look like, movie snowflakes. I've never seen them like that before. Sheriff, we've been taking pictures of them. These are so cool. How are you feeling about the snow right now?
I'm feeling like I'm ready for May, but we're going to deal with it. And it's cold out here. The roads are slick. Stay home if you can. I see a little bit of traffic in here in the mall parking lot. I don't know what they're doing. I hope it's an emergency business that they're conducting, but they need to stay home, really and truly, if they can.
But at least we're getting to enjoy some really beautiful snowflakes out here. If you are going to go outside, bundle up, stay in your own backyard, stay in your own front yard. Don't go drive anywhere. These roads are, like we said, super dangerous. We do want to give you guys another check of the egg that we cracked a little earlier. You can see it's a little bit of a runny egg, lots of yolk in there, but it is frozen solid. We'll pick it up for you now. You can kind of see it is totally frozen there upside down. So you can fry an egg in West Texas in the heat, and you can freeze an egg in West Texas in the winter. I don't think I would like to eat this at all. We're gonna take that back inside so we can dump it out, because I'd rather eat the fried egg out in the summer. We're ready for the May so that we can have those summery fried eggs instead. But, nice weather, beautiful snowflakes. Go outside and catch some of these snowflakes. They are absolutely stunning. I can't stress that enough. We've taken lots of pictures. We'll share them on Facebook, of course, as well. But thank you, Sheriff, for joining us. Very cold this morning. You're going to get back on the roads.
Yes.
Check in on anybody who is maybe driving, who shouldn't be driving.
Absolutely.
But you're going to check in and make sure that everyone's driving safely.
Absolutely.
Any tips for anyone who does have to be on the roads this
If you have to be on the road, drive slow. When you approach an intersection, leave plenty of room between yourself and the intersection, and that way if a car is approaching you from behind, if that car is having trouble stopping, maybe you can get out of their way before you have a collision. Leave lots of room between you and the car in front of you. Just drive slow. It's all slick. There are places that are slicker than others, but it is all slick. Stay home if you can. And if you are cold, you run out of heat, run out of power, call us. We'll come get you and take you to a warm spot.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. We'll let you guys get back out to what you're doing. And Sawyer, Jacob, Ethan, we'll send it back to you guys in studio, and then we're going to go run in studio where it is much warmer, guys.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. We will see you guys back in here. It is a lot nicer in studio, isn't it?
Honestly, I just had to turn the heat down because it's actually a little bit warm in here.
Especially with all the lights blaring
You can't
on us.
say that when people are out freezing in the cold.
I'll go out there later today. It's fine.
Disrespectful. All right, let's continue our live team coverage up in Andrews. Get a look at things there in Andrews. First Alert 7's Sierra Burnett and Rachel Fortunato have been giving us our team coverage from there. There is Rachel in Andrews. Rachel, how are things right now?
Yes, we're back in Andrews today. We currently have nothing falling from the sky right now, but there is snow on the ground, as you can see. All the way up and back to the road, which is pretty icy. Yesterday, we saw lots of cars going out to stores and buying things. We do know some of those stores are still open today, but we have not seen a lot of cars. A lot of people seem to be staying safe, staying warm. At our hotel this morning, we had a good number of people come to breakfast, and even a few people recently have been coming down to the front desk to extend their stays as we've been waiting in the lobby this morning, seeming to want to wait an extra day to get out in these bad conditions, hoping they get a little better. Now, as you do see, there is still a ton of snow on the ground. We are expected to continue getting more. It is very cold out here, so make sure if you are in Andrews or anywhere to stay safe, stay warm, and stay off the roads if you can. For First Alert 7 News, I'm Rachel Fortunato.
All right, thank you, Rachel. We appreciate that coverage from Andrews, where it's quite snowy up there.
Yeah, they've seen a decent amount of snow in the northern Permian Basin and the eastern Permian Basin, where we are headed next. Sports reporter Wyatt Nunn is out there right now going to give us the conditions. Wyatt, how's it looking out there, and how's it going?
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's certainly better now in Howard County than it was when Jensen and I started our day at 6 a.m. That sharp snow has certainly toned down, as well as the wind chill. It is still negative degrees here in Big Spring, so y'all definitely a little warmer in the studio. Now, when I had my update at 10, I talked about how there's an integral power service truck that is in the parking lot here at the Hampton Hotel. I have just learned that they are actively working to help restore power to the over 100 households that lost electricity this morning due to the snow and ice. I'm not sure where they're at in their progress, but I do know that it is they are actively working to get those grids back up. Now, I am out here. Jensen Young is out with some local businesses talking about how they are staying open during this severe weather and being available to help anyone that gets stranded. While the conditions are good right now, we do know that second push is coming later tonight. Unsure what that will look like as of now, but we will make sure to keep you updated from Howard County throughout this weather event. But for now, reporting live in Big Spring, Wyatt Nunn, First Alert 7 News.
All right, Wyatt, thank you very much. Big Spring there, you're on the interstate. I mean, their hotel is right on Interstate 20. You can see cars going by in the background. But it seems like some people still out traveling.
You know, and the interstates, of course, are still icy, but at least they were pre-treated with that brine solution. You know, those major highways, you know, 191 was treated with that, I-20, I-10, 338 as well. Probably the loop in Midland. I'm not 100% sure about that.
I would guess so.
I would guess so. But those at least have been treated with that brine salt solution. So hopefully seeing a little bit better conditions on those major roads as opposed to, you know, getting out of the neighborhood, heading to HEB on 42nd, even though, you know, probably I believe Sheriff Mike Griffiths touched on this, those kind of higher traffic roads such as 42nd, 52nd, Grandview, you know, maybe getting a little bit more traffic, and that's helping things be a little bit better, but still rather icy out there.
Yeah, it melts the ice a little bit.
And even if the roads are treated, you still want to take it slow
Yes.
and try to avoid traveling at all costs if possible. But if you must, just take it slow today and make sure you're not doing any long distance driving, of course, either.
So you mentioned Loop 250. I had the thought that most of that is elevated there if you're on the loop going around Midland. That's we say avoid overpasses, avoid
Yes.
bridges. Well, that whole thing's almost all bridges.
Yes, those are the most hazardous parts of the road, the elevated surfaces away from the ground warmth. So those freeze a lot easier, so it makes it a lot more hazardous. Yes.
Gotcha. So avoid those sorts of roads. First Alert 7 is Jay Hendricks, who will be in here in a few hours to keep continuing our live coverage throughout the day on TV and here on our streaming platforms. Jay will be in a little bit, but yesterday he sat down and talked with Odessa Police Officer Steve LeSueur about ways to keep yourself safe today.
All right, I'm joined now by Corporal Steve LeSueur, Odessa Police Department. Of course, freezing temperatures already here. That's the big problem. I know y'all are always called out for wrecks, whether it's just rainy or whatever, but it's the ice that's a big problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mentioned, icy roads is really the most dangerous thing. Pretty much, you just have to reduce your speed. You know, keep your distance between your vehicle and the vehicle that's in front of you. As far as my experience in being here at OPD, it seems like the most dangerous areas are, the I-20, Highway 191, places like that where you have the overpasses and the bridges. You just have to be so careful.
You mentioned also out in West Odessa, there's a lot of that too.
Yeah, Southwest, where they have extra, they seem to have more bridges. It just seems to be more, ice forms right there, and it just catches people off guard. And really the best thing is just, really try to avoid, traveling on the I-20 or 191 if possible.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot of water too, and we've gotten some puddles out there. That's a big concern too.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely, because it can go from, having no crashes on the I-20 for, 1 second. Next thing you know, we have 3 crashes, all back to back. And, some point, sometimes it's just more effective to just stay off of it. It's just better to just, take the service road or take an alternative route.
Okay, sometimes you also get calls about people who need help, need assistance, so they can't stay warm or they're out in the elements. You guys, I know the county has a plan. Do y'all have a plan also?
Yeah, so we partner with the Salvation Army. If it's a check welfare call, we respond to those quite a bit, especially in this type of weather. If you do see someone that is out, in the cold weather and you are concerned about them, please give us a call. You have nothing to lose. Call that non-emergency line, the 432-333-3641. Of course, if you think that they're, deceased or, and it's emergency, then call 911. But, call it in as a check welfare, and we will respond and we will take over from there.
Do you put extra officers out when it's like this?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It just depends. We kind of monitor it. So really, we're anticipating it to get where, I think bad, tomorrow night, especially into Sunday and of course Monday as well. So.
Okay. And I know that, again, the big concern with those areas where there is water already, that's going to be the concern, especially now that temperatures have dropped.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mentioned, the flooding. The flooding is also something you have to watch out for. So just try to avoid going. If you see, if you see possible flooding, just turn around. It's not worth it.
Would you rather call 911 or the main number at the depending on what, I guess depending on what it is, but if let's check welfare, would you want them to call 911?
No, for the check welfare, you can just call the non-emergency line unless it is a life or death situation.
Obviously, if you see something happening, a crash or something, you want to call that 911.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're concerned about their status, if you don't really know, yeah, definitely call that 911. But really, the bottom line is that you just have to slow down and just plan ahead. And one of the most important things is keep that distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you, because we see it time and time again. I think one year we had several dozen crashes. I don't know if it was 80 or 90 or whatever it was, but it was a ridiculous amount within a very short period of time. So
all right,
we've seen it happen.
Please be careful if you're out there driving around. Steve, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Jay, for that report. Like we mentioned, he and Isabella, Matthew Alvarez, Tom T. Fertiller, all our evening crew will be coming in here in the next few hours to continue our live coverage across TV and on our streaming platforms. We want to take a look at power outages and the current outage map from Oncor, because people, that's the big concern, right? I mean, that's the real danger. Everybody's staying home, staying off the roads, but if you're stuck in your home with no power, that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah, and we've been saying that those wind chill values are below zero, especially across Big Spring, Lamesa, Midland. I believe we're kind of right around zero, but still very, very cold out there. And of course, with those temperatures dropping, if you have no power, that can, be dangerous to you, but also for your infrastructure of your house. Those pipes can burst. So you just definitely want to, make sure you have those proper precautions if you do lose power, but we'll talk about those power outages across our region now.
Well, I'm looking at the whole state right now, so I've zoomed out the map here on my computer just to see that there are 288 outages across Texas right now, according to Oncor. That's affected about 13,000 people of the 4 million plus that they serve across the whole state of Texas. So about 13,000 people out of 4 million customers, not too bad. Most of those are in the DFW area and like East Texas near Tyler is where the majority of those outages are. Zooming in back here at home, things haven't been so bad today. We've been tracking, if we look in Midland, they're kind of south of Midland out in the county, has been where the biggest outage has been here in our area. It looks like that's still going. So you see that dot there just south of Midland, kind of near Rankin Highway. There's still about 255 people down there in Midland County dealing with an outage. Oncor says that is due to adverse weather as the cause of that outage. It was reported around 2:30 this morning. So since 2:30 a.m., these people have been without power. And right now, estimated restoration is under review. So it had been saying kind of like late this morning or so, but I think we've kind of gone past that time. They do say they are repairing it, according to the status there, but those people have been without power now for, it's bad at math, a little over about 8.5 hours.
8.5 hours.
So we are thinking of those people down there in Midland County. Just beyond that, so further southeast from there, you can see off of Garden City Highway, 2 green dots. That's a total of about 150 people out there kind of between, I guess that'd be Midland County and Glasscock County, dealing with outages there. That would still be Midland County in that spot, I believe. As far as inside the city of Midland, you can see within the Loop 250 there. We'll try to zoom in on that. There's an outage, 2 small ones off of one person off of Scarborough Drive, 1 person down there kind of south of downtown. There's that green dot there in central Midland. We've got about 83 people off of Fairgrounds Road dealing with a power outage. That's been since about 4 a.m. Oncor does not have a cause for that or a restoration time for that. We'll go look out in something by the airport. What's that over there? That's about 18 customers over near the airport off of Business 20 between Midland and Odessa. Is that maybe even the mobile home park? It's hard to tell. I can only zoom so far. As far as Odessa, I mean, really limited outages in Odessa right now. I mean, there's 11-ish customers south of downtown. 20 If you're looking at kind of on the west side of Odessa, what street is this? If we zoom in as far in as I can get. Point being, thankfully, outages not looking very bad at all.
Yes, and combine that extreme cold, like Sawyer was saying, it's not going to be a good thing to lose power. If you don't have the heat to keep you warm, the cold is going to become a problem, especially with those wind chills overnight tonight. Most of the Permian Basin will be in the negative territory wind chills overnight, and it's again, very dangerous situation in that regard. And that's again why we have extreme cold warnings in effect for basically all areas of West Texas and southeast New Mexico. But let's transition real quick to a quick update of live radar right now. Again, we're starting to see things on the downtrend right now, but we're going to be again seeing a uptick later this afternoon. Just a couple of spotty freezing rain showers and snow showers across northeastern Permian Basin, leaving off to the northeast. But again, later this afternoon, another round is on the way.
Yeah, so we are not done just yet. And of course, accumulations are looking to be expected as we head later today and into our Sunday as well.
All right, so we are kind of sitting in a little pocket right here where things may be calm here for the next few hours.
However, of course, we mentioned earlier, radar sometimes doesn't pick up that lighter snow, so it may be snowing, flurrying, very light sleet, not, looking like it on our radar, but that's just because it doesn't pick up those small, particles.
So yeah, when we talk about the round later today, it's really, when we say that, we're talking about a more robust round, like something you'll actually see on radar, something that'll be actually noticeably coming down from the sky. So really the forecast of the rest of the morning and early afternoon, just intermittent light flurries out there, maybe a few ice pellets here and there, but the actual impacts once again will start back up with that freezing precip later this afternoon and through the overnight.
And I know we are trying to wrap up, but I just want to mention we are looking at about 0.2 of an inch of freezing precipitation, whether that is rain or that sleet accumulating, and 1 to 3 inches of snow as we head into our Sunday across the region.
And by the way, that snow will be transitioning to 100% snow later tonight through your Sunday. So we will